Quick turnaround for a very, very good Michigan State team. I thought, going back and looking and grading out our Nebraska game, I thought defensively, by far and away, the best job we've done defensively up until the rebounding part of the game happened. Did a really good job of disrupting. We did a really good job of contesting shots. And then I thought our general activity was really, really good. Gave Borchard a lot of credit. He was very, very physical. When he got his hands on a ball, it was his. And a lot of those were Georgie being in a position to go help and wall up on penetration or whatever. And then a lot of our perimeter guys just not cracking down. I call crackdown with the physicality needed to handle him. But offensively, I thought we did some really nice things. I liked our balance. Obviously, Kipper was extremely efficient, and it was nice to see him get going again. The next challenge is obviously one of the best teams in the country. You know, that they're on you know, the Cassius Winston train. Cassius is probably having an MVP caliber year. You look at his numbers, you look what his meaning is to that team. Extremely impressed with the fact that 20 assists per game is an extraordinary number. That's facilitated mostly by him. Ward's having a very, very big year. And then there are other pieces, McQuaid, Henry. I don't want to leave anybody out, but they're, you know, you look at sort of Tillman off the bench, you look at Goins, has been a fixture in that lineup for many years now. So this is a very, very good basketball team, and excited for the challenge.
Coach, what do you think about getting Michigan State now off of 2 losses in a row as opposed to getting them off their hot streak that they were on?
I don't think we have any say in it. So, you know, I think it's you know, you give Indiana a lot of credit for the way they played, and Indiana made plays when they had to, and I thought their fight matched Michigan State's fight, and so they were able to win, and we've got to do the same thing tomorrow. You know, I imagine that we're going to see that same. You know, we're going to see an angry, tough-minded Michigan State team come in here, and I expect them to be at their best, and I think Tom will probably have their attention.
Coach, last week you said toughness on the road was what you wanted to really see in terms of growing moving forward. Maybe in the midst of this homestand, though, was an area of improvement you're really hoping to see coming off that last one?
Yeah, we saw some of it against Nebraska. I mean, just consistency on the defensive end is something we've been striving for, and it was challenging shots. It was making the second, third effort. You know, I want to get where if you ask coaches and players in the league who's the toughest team in the league, I want them to say Illinois, and we're striving for that, and it's not just physically, that's the effort and so on and so forth. But I was pleased with that, and we got to continue to keep growing in that area.
Brad, what informs you, if anything, as a team about facing highly ranked teams earlier in the year, you know, going all the way back to Gonzaga? Does that make Michigan State getting ready for them, I don't know, easier?
Yeah, it's not new to us. I think we have the second toughest schedule in the country behind Kansas, according to Ken Pom. I think the thing that's enlightening about that is in the top 10 toughest schedules in the country this year, 6 of them are Big Ten teams. Obviously, we've seen a lot of good teams, and you know when we played them, they were really good. You know, a lot of them. I mean, Xavier's, Iowa State's having a tremendous year. Gonzaga is obviously going to be a 1 seed, I would think. You know, so it's not like we're not. This is new to us. But I think we've gotten better. You know, I think that's exciting. I think in the last month, I saw a power ranking the other day that we were 35 in the last 30 days. Which is 6th or 7th in the Big Ten. So we're making strides. We're getting better, and that's all we can ask. And we get one of the best teams in the country, and it has been for many years coming in here. So it's a great opportunity.
Trent's drawn some pretty difficult defensive assignments with Anthony Cowan, Glenn Watson, another one, obviously with Cassius Winston. What can maybe he take from what he's done the last few weeks and apply to maybe the best point guard in the league?
Yeah, it just won't be Trent. I mean, it'll be Io, it'll be Dre. I mean, it'll be all those guys. Cassius is such a good facilitator. He's one of the best, if not the best in the country in ball screens and the reads he makes. He does it with his wit. He does it with his ability to make a three. He's got great hesitation. He's different than Anthony. Maryland, he's a little different than, Simpson because of his ability to shoot it. But he's an elite player, and he makes his teammates better. And Trent and Io and those guys have got to be, be on point, and they've got to make his life very difficult.
I know you just got done playing a Nebraska team that didn't have Copeland. Now you play a Michigan State team without Langford. What does it do to their team to not have him on that in that game?
Well, he's a primary option. I think there's a guy who's known as an elite shooter. If you just look at it in simplistic terms, you've got a veteran being replaced by a freshman, and not Aaron Henry's terrific. He's an exceptional athlete, competes at a high level. He's one of the top rebounders in the country for wing players, but he's a freshman, and Langford is a tremendous three-point shooter. He helps space the floor. That helps a guy like Ward. But yeah, it's obvious that you hate to see a kid like that have an injury and miss what's been a very special season for them. But they've also done quite nicely without him, and Henry's a big piece of that.
Io mentioned when he committed here, he's personally scouted all the different Big Ten teams. How far ahead is he as a freshman to see Michigan State for the first time, and how much do you kind of have to work with him versus what he already knows?
Well, he's way ahead. I mean, a lot of freshmen in terms of the mental approach to the game, and I mean, he gets pretty dialed in. I've got a meeting with him at 3:00 today, and I mean, he's a young guy that's wants every advantage he can, and he's trying to figure it out. He wants every little bit of information, whether it's from Coach Walker, who's got the scout, or myself, and there's tremendous care about his assignment as he goes into that, and he does that with everybody we play.
Brad, with the standings all bunched up, how much of a motivator is it for your team to play for getting out of that Wednesday game in the Big Ten tournament? Is it all in line yet?
I haven't talked about it. I couldn't even tell you where we're at. Somebody asked me today what our record is. I really don't know. It's the next game, and at the end of the year, we'll tally them all up, and where we play, and then that sounds like you think I'm full of it. I'm not. I really don't know where we're at in the league standings, and we're going to play to try to compete against a very, very good Michigan State team and beat them. And then at the end of the year, we'll add them all up, and I'll call Derek and see where we're at and what day we play, and we'll do it that way.
Brad, obviously the big man has evolved in basketball and NBA on positionless. You've talked about that a lot, but Michigan State continually has 3, 4 bigs that they can throw at you, and I know next year you'd like to have the same thing. What does that do for a team and for a team that's playing against?
Well, and the one thing that makes them so special is they play so fast. They're elite in transition, and Nick Ward, Nick broke open a very, very close game here last year at half with 3 baskets where he just outran us, and they established very, very early post position, and then they space it. They do a nice job of spacing the floor, and when you've got guys like Cassius who deliver, and you've got shooters around him, it makes it a difficult challenge. And you don't just see it with one. When he gets a little winded, here comes Tillman. Goings is turned into a terrific three-point shooter. He's a great post feeder as well. So it's nice when you can score at the rim as effectively as they do with the field goal percentage that they do. And you know, you have to pick your poison a little bit with them.
Coach Aaron Jordan struggled a little bit shooting against Nebraska, but, you know, done some of the more intangible things, especially with rebounding. But how important will it be for him to get back on some of his game from beyond the arc, especially tomorrow?
Yeah, it's the fourth score, and a lot of that comes from the wing position for us. I mean, we've been pretty consistent with Trent, Io, and Georgie, and when we get that other guy, you know, whether it's Tab, whether it's AJ, whether it's DeMonte, whoever it might be, Allen, Kipper, right on down the list. Whenever we get that guy, then we become a handful, and then we've been pretty effective that way. Aaron does so many things right. I have so much confidence in him, and his understanding is really good on the defensive end, and then he's got a toughness about him on the glass that I like, and so yeah, you know, when I left 15 minutes ago, he was in the gym shooting, so you know, he's a good shooter. Everybody knows that, and I don't worry about him making shots. His time will come.
Coach, your efficiency numbers on defense have steadily improved the last couple of weeks. I think you're 51 spots higher this year than where you were last year. What would you kind of attribute that to, and what are you seeing there?
Well, I think there's a couple things. I think one, we're much better on the perimeter, and I looked at a stat the other day. You know, our post touches are way down against, are way down. We were really good in that area last year. They're way down because our perimeter defense is better. We're better on the wing spots defensively. You know, I think it speaks volumes to how good I've been saying Iowa and Trent, with maybe the exception of the Iowa game. You know, we've been pretty good there, and DeMonte gives us a rock, a guy who's been really good there. So, you know, we're pretty solid there, and I think that's a big reason for those adjustments. Georgie in ball screen coverages is elite for a freshman. He's really good, and he's been able to absorb and handle a lot of coverages correctly. And you put all that together, you start to see some improvement.
Brad, you mentioned KenPom. The last 6 games, you've had 3 of your top 4 wins here, according to KenPom. What does that tell us about your team? What does that tell you?
I don't know, Jeremy. I mean, I guess that's good. I think it's, I don't ever get beyond the next game, and so I don't look at it. We were losing some games, but we were getting better, and I felt like that for a long time. And when I keep saying how much I like this team, and it you know, a guy like Kip, you know, it would have been real easy for him to go the other way, and yet that guy was the happiest guy in the locker room in New York. He was a guy that was cheering guys on in the Minnesota game, and then his time's come back around, and man, that's starting to get culture there. That's a big word for me, is culture. And so to get 3 of our 4, maybe it's speaking volumes to, one, I know we're getting better, but I know our culture is becoming something that we can all be proud of, and that's, you know, that's a pretty big deal.
You kind of bounce back and forth between not very good free throw shooting, and then obviously the Maryland game was 91%. But you feel there's anything that attributes to maybe the 9-23 or 12-22?
There was something in the air, because it was in East Lansing as well that day. I think it was around the country. There was just, I have no idea.
Measles.
We have the guys, yeah, maybe it was measles. I don't know. I really don't know. We shot a bunch yesterday. We shoot a bunch. We're good, you know, Brian Barnhart told me we're 85% the last 3 games coming in, and then to have a night like that, And to be quite honest, Nebraska's a good free throw shooting team. They didn't shoot very good either. So I think it's just one of those nights, and I'm not making a real big deal about it. We got guys who are good shooters, and we'll step up tomorrow and make it. Thanks, guys.